And I'm a Missouri Synod Lutheran, and that's headquartered right here in St. Louis. But I understand that most of the Schwaben are Catholic, so I don't feel like I'm in enemy territory. But I went to a Lutheran grade school for 8 years, and then I went to this Woodward High School, which is now it's a high school for the performing arts. In 1943, it was fully integrated, a downtown school. We didn't even have our own football field or our own practice facilities, so we were always a visiting team. But there were approximately 4,000 students, and I led her 3 times in football, twice in baseball. So I was kind of a jock, and I was not a very good student. But William Howard Taft actually went to one of the precursors to this building at Woodward High School. Now, I did participate in German activities in Cincinnati. I went to because you couldn't take German in high school. I went every Saturday morning to a German class at a different school, and I sang in a German Kinderchor, which was conducted by Mr. Koppelhof, and Doris Day, his daughter, was in that choir with me. And Doris Day has my birthday, but she really doesn't know who I am. But she was she left early to go with Les Paul's Band of Renown, and the rest is history. She really made a great name for herself. In 1940, every alien had a register. Every alien, no matter from what country, Sweden, Germany, Canada, Mexico, Australia, you had a register if you were 14 or over, male or female, with your thumbprint. And then you carried this booklet with your picture on it. And after Pearl Harbor, you had to bring this booklet in, and then they put a red cover on it if you were an alien from one of the Axis powers. And after Dr. Sunich's presentation, I'll be in the back there, and you can. I'll let you handle any of the documents that I'll show here. But when you think about it, this is the database for potential internment. There were 400,000 German aliens over age 14 that registered, 600,000 Italians, and a couple of 200,000, I believe it was, Japanese aliens, and the rest were from assorted countries. Now, in February 1942, President Roosevelt issued Order Number 9066. He authorized General DeWitt on the West Coast to relocate or intern any and all persons on the West Coast that they deemed inimical to the United States. Now, a lot of people just say, well, that's was restricted to Japanese, but it was not restricted to the Japanese. The entire fishing fleet in San Francisco, which was virtually all Italian, was impounded so that they couldn't signal incoming ships or airplanes and things like that. And then bear in mind, in February of 1942, General DeWitt, knowing full well that his compatriots on Pearl Harbor were being castigated as being derelict in their duties, well, he was not going he was not about to just gloss over people on the West Coast. He really wanted to intern every German, every Italian, every Japanese, but he was told if you did that, you cripple the war effort. And there are some pretty horrid stories about that relocation stuff where he arbitrarily drew a line right down a highway, and if a parent lived on one side of the road and the kids might live on the other side of the road, one side would be interned or relocated and the other not. In 1942, well, we'll skip over that. This is James Rowe's testimony to the Japanese commission to establish their restitution. He made this statement in 1981. And that's my internal passport. In 1942, both my parents, my mother and my father, both were arrested. And I was a counselor in a boys' camp down in North Carolina, and when I came home in the end of August, they were already gone. And I didn't know about it because they didn't want me to know that they were arrested and interned. My younger brother, who was born in Cincinnati in 1929, just in time for the Depression, had to go along, even though he was a full-bore American citizen, because he was only 12 years old. They said, look, if he doesn't go along with you into internment, we'll have to put him into an orphanage. Of course, that's not very a good choice to make. So he had to go. And here's another reason I talk about this, because for the next 5 years, he was interned too, from the age of 12 until 17, and the schools were really not that great for him, and he suffered consequently. And incidentally, then they were arrested, they were interned. I had a morning newspaper route in Cincinnati, and I earned enough money so I could buy groceries and things like that. My older brother, Julius, had gone to Wittenberg College on a football scholarship, so he was gone. So between and before he dropped out at the end of in December, I lived alone in Cincinnati, and I forged my mother's signature on the football, permission slips, because I couldn't forge my father's, and I played football, and I really was not a very good student. And one evening I was picked up for interrogation, and in November they drove me downtown to Cincinnati. It was about 8 o'clock at night. They took me up in this huge federal building and stuck me in a darkened room with one light. And these two FBI agents, were asking all kinds of questions about what did I think about my parents, what about the neighbors, do you get along with them, and things of that nature. And then I think they really just wanted to let me know that they knew where I was and what I was doing. And then they offered to drive me back, but I said, no, I'll take the streetcar. So in March 23, I was a senior ready to graduate in 6 weeks. And I had my picture in for the yearbook and all that kind of stuff. And when I finally got the yearbook a couple of years later, my picture was expunged. My picture is not in the Woodward High School yearbook of 1943. Now,